Hiya, welcome back to part two of week seven online lecture. So, just for this bit, I want to talk about the second part of assignment two. I mentioned it briefly in the first part of the online lecture, and this is where we compile a log. Okay, so what's this all about then? So, the log, you'll be considering three further news stories, and you'll also be watching a council meeting as well. And this backs up what I've been saying from week one, endlessly, you may think, that one of the best ways to progress as a journalist is to actually read, watch, and listen to a lot of news. That way, you get into the swing of how journalists write, how they deal with information, how that information turns into good stories, good headlines, good intros, etc. So I want to see that you can demonstrate that you've been watching news and reading news in particular. So as part of your log, you must show you've read and considered at least three further news stories. So it's got to be news, no sport reviews, opinions, that sort of thing. So it's got to be a news story. You'll provide a link to each of the stories in your log, and also a brief evaluation of the content. So not a great deal really. Basically, you need to tell me why you chose it and what you learn from it as well. From a journalistic point of view, why these three stories were of particular interest for you. And these three stories must have been published during the course of this module. So plenty of stories to go at again. So the second part of your log really is watching a council meeting. So what I want you to do is to watch a webcast of a meeting, and it doesn't matter, it can be either Manchester City Council or Salford City Council. You need to confirm the date you did this in your log, and then suggest two potential ideas for follow-up stories from what you heard during the meetings. And the meetings, can be quite lively, can be quite interesting. So it's good experience for you to watch these, and also good experience to watch them with a journalistic eye. So you're looking for potential follow-up stories to the matters that are discussed. You can watch a live webcast or one that's been recorded of previous meetings. So there's plenty to go at. Try and choose one from as recent as possible if you can. And if you want, you can actually go to attend a meeting in person as a member of the public. Details are on the council's website. Just check whether you're allowed to go before you do pitch up. But like I say, you can watch them online these days or a recording. And also on the council website, there are all the documents that are associated with the meeting. So it's always good practice, when you're covering these type of meetings as a journalist, to have all the papers in front of you so that you can look at all the background to the issues that's being discussed. Because all the councillors will have had a similar batch of papers, so they're kept abreast of what they're about to discuss, so they can be more informed, and a bit of background as well, because it can be a lot of chat assuming that you've got that knowledge. So basically, just a quick recap, you need to watch a webcast. It can be live or recorded. You're looking for two potential ideas for follow-up stories, and take a look at the documents as well. So when you're considering the three further news stories, you don't need to write a complete story for the council meeting. You just need to highlight an issue discussed at the meeting that you think may be worth following up, and explain why and what you do next. So that's for the council meeting. Highlight an issue and what you think may be worth following up, and explain what you do next. So there's the links for the council meetings. So have a look at those now. Familiarise yourself. Whichever one you choose, can be Salford City Council, Manchester City Council. I'm not bothered as long as you watch one meeting from either of those. Okay, and this is how the log sort of plays out really. You've got your story one there with a link with an explanation about why you chose it, what you learned from it. There's a place for your second and your third stories as well. And that's the detail you need from the council meeting as well, with the space, for your two ideas for potential follow-up stories and some other information that's required as well. So, when you've done it, that's pretty much what you end up with. Ta-da, indeed, at the end of it all. So, you've got your first part here, which includes your critical analysis of the story, which you need to look out for in print, online, and social media. There's other forms, and then here's the details of the log. So about seven pages to fill in, and like I say, if I were you, I'd start thinking about assignment 2 now, really, if you can. If you want to, take a chance to have a look in more detail, revisit this online lecture. The slides are loaded up as well, so you can have a look at those in more detail. And also in Blackboard, there's detailed assignment briefs, so make sure you read those carefully so you're fully abreast of what's going on. And it's a really good idea, if you've not done so already, to do so this week as well, so you can sort of plan how you're going to tackle the news writing test a bit more, and also, like I say, the second assignment. Okay. Right, okay, well that's the end of part 2, and we're going to look at, in part 3, Converge Newsroom and use an example from the MEN.